listening to Second Wind with Joyce Buford, where women who are ready to expand their life adventure discover the tools to stop playing small and tap into the courage required to enjoy their second wind. Welcome. Welcome to Second Wind. It is so great to have you here this morning. I am Joyce Buford, and I am going to be the lady that shares the amazing lady with you today, who is going to wow you off of where you stand so that you can go forward in your life. Now, you know, Second Wind was created so that I could encourage you to start your journey. And your journey is first started by getting to know who you are. Most important. But I wanted to also inspire you to dream big, not just the little bitty dreamy wishes that you want, but outside of the box big, and to inform you how to get your second wind. And you know, I do this through my guests because all of my guests are women who have traveled this journey and they've succeeded and they've expanded. And if you can listen to their message, then your journey will be smoother and easier and with more joy. But it's all about connection and support. That's how you grow and move forward. So I thank you for being here today. This is going to be an awesome podcast for you. My guest today is Sherianna Boyle. Now, Sherianna loves to write. She is the author of nine books, including her most recent, which is Emotional Detox Now, 135 self-guided practices to renew your mind, heart, and body. She is the founder of Emotional Detox Coaching and the Cleanse Method. She has over 25 years experience in the mind-body field and is an adjunct psychology professor and has published over 80 articles. Now, Sherianna is a graduate of the University of Massachusetts, Boston. She has been married. Sorry, glasses are playing tricks on me today. I have a new eye. So if you wonder why I'm kind of stumbling here. But anyway, she has been married for 23 years. My applause, my dear. And she has raised 3 daughters in Cape Cod, Maine. She spends most of her time teaching, writing, and supporting her community of cleansers on her new platform, Emotional Detox Now.com. Welcome. What a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Now, the Detox Now book is out now or not?
It's
coming.
I wish it were out now. It was supposed to be out now. Well, it was actually supposed to be out in October, but it was pushed out to February because like a lot of other things in the world, it's on back order.
I got it.
Yeah. So February, it's coming out. It can't come soon enough though.
Oh no.
People need it now.
Yes, we're past needing it.
Yeah.
Now, explain to me what emotional detox is.
Sure. So the best way I can say is, most of us are used to a physical detox, right? Where we get rid of the impurities, pesticides, bacteria, whatever in our bodies.
Yeah.
Emotional detox is similar, only we're not getting rid of our emotions. I just want to be clear with that. We are getting rid of our reactions. So the reactions are the way that we suppress, oppress, and repress our emotions. So that's what we're cleansing. Once you cleanse the reactions, then you get to feel your emotions pure. It's kind of like food. It's like eating an organic apple and compared to an apple that's been sprayed with pesticides. They taste different. They digest different. They affect your body differently. So same thing with emotions.
Right. Well, you have on your site a freebie, a meditation. And of course, I go for all of the freebies. I love them. They're like treats. And so I experienced a little bit of your detoxation through emotions. And wouldn't you say emotions are really the biggest thing that causes us to fall and to question who we are, and to I just they just play such an important part in our lives.
Yeah,
We
I think
all
that, yeah, I think they're the most important part in our lives. I think that they're the everything. I mean, we kind of put them the last on the list,
Mhm.
that do all of this, and then that will help you with your emotions. And what I'm saying is we got to change that to having it be first, because
Right.
it's the foundation for everything else in your life, your relationships, your finances, your career, your health. Um, they're the foundation. So why are we putting them out there, and why are we doing everything else first? In
Mhm.
hopes it will take care of that. Why not focus on emotions first and then build in everything around that? That's just my viewpoint.
With what we've gone through over the last 2 years,
Mhm.
have you felt that our emotions have been triggered or not?
Yeah, I think we are in a major time right now where we're being trained to react. I
Mhm.
mean, we've always been trained to react. That's been a part of the psychology, I mean, you look at it, the psychology is such a big part of the marketing world. I mean, how do we get people to see things a certain way? How do we get them to do certain things? Been a real challenge for me, Joyce, because as an emotional detox coach, I really encourage people to do what feels right for them. And
Mhm.
I think it's been a difficult year because, well, I think there's been a lot of fear, tremendous amount of fear.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
I don't agree with making decisions from fear. I just don't. I
Yeah.
just don't believe in that. I understand though that we were in an emergency, and that's when you have to kind of be quick on your feet.
Mhm.
Um, but you can't keep people in a state of emergency for 2 years.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, now you're going to get some serious deterioration in our health and our systems and our relationships. And you're seeing it. What I'm seeing is a lot of families and relationships and people deteriorating because it's been too long to ask people to function to make decisions from that state.
Right.
I wish they would include me. Can I just give like everybody a detox? Can we just go online and detox and then move forward?
I think we should
Wouldn't
talk
that
to
be
our
nice?
leadership about
How
this.
about how
Yes.
about we give, some of our politicians a detox
I
and our
think so.
healthcare workers, and I mean, I would love to see it done another way. And I
Yeah.
don't want to make light of something that's, a lot of people have suffered and been, I don't want to make light of that at all. Um, but at some point we do need to come into our space of wholeness again, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um,
About the only time I can think of that we really talk about emotions and we accept them as part of who we are is
mm,
when we're grieving. I mean,
yes,
that's well, mainly because the system just goes, I can't deal.
you're
So,
right. True.
um, but emotions are really guide us every day. They guide us with our get ups, our,
Yeah.
and,
Yes.
the way we interact with people. I mean, I certainly
Yeah.
know that those emotions affect relationships, the marriages, the friendships, and all of that. So you have some things on your website that I think
Mhm.
are awesome. They're good tools to start with.
Mhm.
I definitely want the
Which one
listeners.
did you go to? Did you go to sheriannaboyle.com or emotionaldetoxnow.com? Because I have two websites.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
you can't do that. That confuses me.
well, I mean, I have both are great.
Yes, yes.
Sheriannaboyle.com's just been around for a longer and um, but Emotional Detox Now is where we're launching the the opportunity to virtually. I mean, the one good thing about the pandemic, Joyce, is virtual. We've all learned that we can connect around the world, and we found other ways to support one another, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
And some people are scared to still be around others. So it's been a blessing to be able to still feel like you can help someone and not scare them at the same time and make them feel. I know for me, I'm not having clients out of, my home anymore. I see clients out of my home. And I haven't done that for a long time. So anyway, the platform allows us to come together on Zoom and cleanse. We go through the steps of an emotional detox together. So because people need to feel, there's a part where you detox on your own, you feel, but then as you know, Joyce, there's a part where I really see such growth when we come together. And we, it's not just the receiving, it's the witnessing. There's something very powerful about, at least from my perspective, because I'm usually on the witnessing side of witnessing someone choosing to process. I mean, I always say one of the bravest things you can do is feel, right? Yeah. It's easy to react. I mean, that's easy peasy, right, Joyce? We can all react.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Good
easy.
Or bad, I react.
That's the easy road, right? And that's what's happening in our world. Everybody's taking the easy, quickest, fastest, easiest road. But this is a road that's so different. It's about real true healing, and real true change comes from the pathway of feeling, not reacting. That's going to be temporary. And we've seen it. It's temporary. Everything. This will fix it. That didn't work. Now we got to do it, because we're not really hitting the core. And that is emotions. And when you keep people in fear, and it's been like this for centuries, you cannot create a society and impose fear on them. You just can't, and expect people to flourish. It's just anybody to flourish.
Right. Well, I just see so much anger, and I myself, I have to confess, I go to anger too easily.
Yeah.
It doesn't really function very well for me. I do notice that. That's, it's not working. And so when I was looking at your website and did the cleanse, I think it's called Calm Your Mind.
It's a very snippet of a cleanse. It's not the deep real, it's not what you would get in a live experience. It just gives you a taste of it, so go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Well, so anyway, but I enjoyed that little snippet. I mean, it was very calming. It was, I started breathing correctly for a while. And I loved all the different phases that you took us through, the humming, the allowing, the I am, and the breathing part of it. So if that was used in your life every day, I can just see how you could be a calmer, more present person with your loved ones. But you talk about the emotions are the answer, but you talk about emotional detox, coaching, and then the cleanse method, and then cleanse yoga.
Yes.
So if somebody, how do you cleanse yoga?
So funny. So that is what the new platform is about. And, I've been teaching yoga for about 19 years. I owned a yoga studio. Yeah. I owned a yoga studio for many of those years. And so it's funny because I was doing the promos for Emotional Detox, the core book. And I said to the camera crew, it was for the publisher. I said, they said, what else can you do? And I said, well, I do cleanse yoga. And they're like, what? And I was like, well, I just detox when I'm practicing. They were like, can you do it right now? I was like, yeah. And I did like a 10-minute snippet. It ended up on a feature in Yoga Journal. I was like, what? And I was like, I guess I created a thing. Like it was just something I was doing with myself and my students. and they were
Yeah.
loving it. And they were like, it's like going to therapy. Like you really feel so, and I'm sort of like that, that kind of teacher where, I taught at the YMCA forever. And if you've
Right.
ever belonged to I was like the YMCA girl forever. And the benefit of teaching at a YMCA is you got to be able to accommodate all levels of people.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You've got people with disabilities, you've got seniors, you've got teens, you've got, and that was fabulous because I learned how to create a practice that everybody could be a part of in some way. But it got to the point where I even had people who had injuries. They said, I hurt my leg or I'm not, whatever it was. And they would say, can I still come and sit in the room? And they would literally, and some of my special needs they would sit in the room and they would just watch. And it was because we were doing cleanse yoga and I was infusing the teachings of an emotional detox, and they would take in the vibe and they would do the breathing, but they wouldn't do anything physical. So that's when I knew this is something special when you have people that just want to sit in the room quietly. And feel the vibe. And that's what the vibe of feeling feels like. It feels like you're being nourished.
Yeah. So cleanse yoga, just for baby steps here, is yoga positions plus breathing and
the cleanse. So I go through the steps of the cleanse. So it's 7 steps in the acronym of the cleanse. So everyone understands when we say cleanse, that means 7 mindful steps. Take them through very a slow, but I think it can be pretty powerful practice because we do want to strengthen our bodies, right? We don't want to, I don't believe in kid gloves either because, we have to get stronger. We can't just lay around.
Right. Oh, darn.
We do need to keep our muscles strong, right?
Yes,
so,
right.
But yoga's wonderful because you can modify, you can bring your knees down, you can take breaks, and especially online, you can do it at your own pace. But by the end, what ends up happening is you see, I never know where we're going to go with the cleanse because once you start processing emotions, information starts coming, at least for me. I start getting information I didn't even know I had. So it's like I call them downloads.
Yes.
And so it's just something I recommend everybody give it a whirl, and again, this is all on emotionaldetoxnow.com, but we do know that when it comes to anxiety and depression, 50% of your symptoms, at least for anxiety, will go down with exercise. Like we have to move our bodies and breath, right? If you want to reset your nervous system, you need the breath. And then the mantras are in there because I wrote a book named Mantras Made Easy. And that really, I understand that, where they come from, how ancient they are, with the intention. They're like medicine mantras. When you use them properly, they're medicine. They're spiritual medicine. So that's infused in the practice. And the thing that I have learned how to do that is different in the way I was taught in teaching yoga is I can feel energy and I know when everyone's ready for the next step. And that's an important part of feeling. People are like, okay, so what's bothering you? What's wrong? Right. And if their body's stiff and tight, you're just going to back them up. Right. And so you got to be able to feel when their body, when their spirit is ready to let go. There is a little bit of an art to that.
So your classes are for yoga are on the internet? You have a class for that?
Emotionaldetoxnow.com. Yes, I have two, yes, we have 2 lives a week. And then we have, now this is all launching the end of September.
Okay.
Just so you know. I'm not sure when this is all coming out, but by the end of September, we have 2 lives a week where I teach live, and then
Mhm.
everything is put in an on-demand library. So if you miss it, you can just click on demand and get it there.
And those are through memberships, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then in the membership includes one seated practice where I just cleanse like this with a group where we're just sitting
Yeah.
like in your living room or in your wherever you want to be. And then I will guide you through based on whatever's coming up. Usually I've noticed over the years, there's always themes. It's kind of like the news cycle. you know, there's a theme of the week. I always find there's themes of reactivity that come up.
Right.
And so based on what's going on in the world, what's coming up for people, I'll take that and throw that into the cleanse. So you always feel like your current, I always say all healing happens in the now, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And it is connected to the past. So it's not like you're ignoring the past, but by processing your emotions in the now, you are slowly transforming patterns from the past. I'm not just talking about past from this lifetime. I'm talking about past from genetic lines. And
Wow.
that's what we need to be thinking in terms of, this passing on these, a lot of mental health is
Genetic.
genetics,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And look what's happening right now. We don't want to pass this on, Joyce. I mean,
Right.
we've got kids in crisis.
Right.
If we
Yeah.
don't handle this, we're passing it on.
Mhm.
And we're passing a lot on to them right now, too
Right.
much. And so I always say, don't just think of cleansing for you. You're helping generations, future
Mhm.
generations. And you're also, I always say that even you're helping those who have loved ones who have passed, because they'll
Right.
come in for the healings. They come in all the time.
Right.
And we embrace that.
So anybody, no matter what their level is, say I'm a
Uh-huh.
beginner,
Yeah.
can join one of your groups and feel comfortable just doing what they can do.
Yes.
Um, I'm stiff as a board. And that's always been my challenge when I did go to a yoga. I just, I couldn't do the positions. So I
Yeah.
think it's a real skill that you can incorporate even the stiff ones into some sort of program, benefit from the program. So I noticed that you have 4 books on anxiety.
Mhm.
So what is the big push about the anxiety?
Well, I mean, at the time, there's a couple of parenting books there.
Yeah.
And that really is the push is that, our children and my roots are I was a school psychologist for
Yeah.
years. So I'm always thinking about children. And so that's the big thing is children are, there's a lot of anxiety. The rates are through the roof.
Mhm.
Um, and suicide we know is increasing big
Yeah.
time. They're becoming very desensitized. It's causing some of them to really not be paralyzed, and
Mhm.
I'm also an adjunct psychology professor. So I get to see the 18-year-olds and the 19-year-olds and the 20-year-olds and above. And I get to hear their stories of how a lot of anxiety in schools, Joyce, a lot talk about, really feeling the pressure of
Mhm.
being overscheduled, the pressure of being rushed, the pressure of not, being able to be themselves and whatnot. And that does show up later. And so I'm at a community college, which is wonderful because I really get to hear from all age groups there.
Mhm.
But that's really one of my loves, the 4 gifts of anxiety. That was really again similar to emotional detox. It was about reframing,
Mhm.
really, is this anxiety or is this my body telling me something? Right?
Right.
Maybe my body is actually trying to help me, not hurt
Mhm.
me. Right.
Mhm.
And what am I supposed to learn? Maybe that increased heart rate is my body saying, stop doing this. Don't go down that road. Right. And if I just sit and listen, I can transform, that book's all about transforming emotions into new emotions. So I can
Right.
transform fear into love. I can transform fear into courage. It's like Play-Doh. I can transform it into anything.
Right.
And that's what the four gifts was actually endorsed by the National Association of Mental Health, which I had no idea that was going to happen. I didn't even submit it.
Mhm.
I don't know how it happened, but by the grace of God, they don't endorse anymore. So, but
Yeah.
when they did, I happened to get in for that. So it's a good
Awesome.
book. Yeah.
Yeah. Is the breakdown of the family unit contributing also to the anxiety of our young people?
Oh, definitely. For sure. There's a lot
Yeah.
of, yeah, for sure. I see it a lot. And it's not just children. I think adults, it's difficult for them to navigate,
Yeah.
when there is a shift, when there is when there's if it depends if there's I know families that are able to split apart and yet they still make it work, right? They still
Right.
have that respect and love and support for one another, and you can tell, right?
Right.
It's when there's a lot of conflict or fear or there's addiction, things like that, or control. These are all reactions, by the
Yeah.
way, right? It's
Yeah.
ways that everybody's managing, and that's when you see
Mhm.
children not really sure, because what they're doing is they're witnessing people manage their emotions. They're not really witnessing anybody feeling anything. They're
That's true.
witnessing control systems.
Right.
So they don't get to observe much. So
Right.
that's a challenge for them for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. If one of my listeners out there wanted to start with one of your books,
Hmm.
which would be
Hmm.
the one you direct them to first?
Well, I always say, what are you drawn to? I've talked about a few of them here. Um, I think if anxiety is a big thing, I think the Four Gifts of Anxiety is a great book. If
Mhm.
that's something you're drawn to. I also have Emotional Detox for Anxiety, which has the cleanse.
Mhm.
Um, I think the one that people tend to love the most right now is
Mhm.
the core Emotional Detox book. And that's where I just get more personal with my story and
Where's that?
that is the one that has the multicolors. It's yeah.
The
So
newest,
it's
the Emotional Detox? Is
Emotional
that the
Detox
one?
Now is coming. That I would recommend everybody get. Emotional Detox Now is 135 cleanses. I give you everything.
Ah,
So I take you through, there's 25 cleanses that you do for yourself, 25 cleanses for family, 25 cleanses for work, 25 cleanses for health. Like it's really, and so that's called Emotional Detox Now. It's got the pink and the purples. That's
yes.
February. The core book, which is this one,
Yes.
that is that is really the foundation for what an emotional detox is, and it includes my story, my personal story of going on an emotional detox, needing to
Mhm.
detox my marriage.
Mhm.
My life was absolutely falling apart, and so I kind of use my own self to show how this works, and I think people
Mhm.
appreciate that, because it's one thing to tell people what to do, but then it's a whole nother ball game when you show them how it's applied in a daily life person like myself. I'm not,
Mhm.
I'm just a regular person like everybody else, where everything fell apart at one time. And I went on an
Right.
emotional detox to get my life back together.
Right.
And I never went off. I thought it was going to be 6 months. I thought, oh, they'll just do this for 6 months. I'll move on. Right. And then I was like, this is a lifestyle,
Right.
feeling, being present to what you feel, for sure.
Now, is the cleanse method, is that in all of your books?
No, it's in the Emotional Detox series only. and on the
Okay.
platform.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
that would be when you say the series, that would be the Detox Now, the Emotional Detox, and the Emotional Detox Anxiety.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the 3-book series. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Well, I want to know how early you started writing.
You're funny.
Were you 10?
Was I what?
10.
Well, I mean, I wrote in 2012, I self-published my first book, and that was because I left the schools and I was having my third daughter. And I just said to myself, I'm sorry, I was having my first daughter. I'm losing track. And I really thought I was going to go back to work, like a lot of women. I thought I'll just take a break and I'll go back to work. And then I just said, well, I can't do that again. I mean, I was doing everything like a lot of people in the workforce now. We're doing sometimes one job is really like the 3 jobs, right? Yeah. They're putting so much on people's plates that it just, you feel overloaded. And I felt that way. And I said, I can't go back. So how am I going to do this differently?
And you were a new mom?
I was I published that. I'm sorry. That was my third. Yeah, because that was 2012.
Okay.
Yes, I wasn't a new mom.
But even 3 daughters. Oh my.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
that was
that's
the
a lot.
third. That was the third. And that makes more sense to me because the first, I don't think I could have wrote a book. I was too overwhelmed. The third daughter was napping. She was a great napper. And I just started writing during her nap. By then you don't really worry about the dishes anymore.
Right. Not with
By the third, you're like, they can wait. I can do that in 10 minutes. Let me do something new with my time here. Yeah.
Well, I know for me, when I went through a grieving period, I started writing. Now I'd resisted it, like my whole body resisted it. But then I just had to do something to get it out. So did you start for that reason as well, for yourself, just kind of for self-expression? Or did you have indeed a message that you needed to get out there?
Well, I wrote it for educators.
Okay.
And it was called Powered by Me for Educators. And the whole message was, and it was really speaking to the situation. The message was, rather than giving us more tools, because that's what happens when you work in systems. Okay, now you have this tool. Now you have this curriculum. Now you have this protocol. Now we're trying this. And my whole thing was, Powered by Me was, it's not about the damn curriculum. What powers the curriculum, truly powers that curriculum. And it's our awareness, it's our energy, it's our presence, right? And I really wanted to make a shift to the education system as a school psychologist, and like, let's stop piling on more to-dos for educators, and let's start focusing on what is really running the energy behind this. And I did some great work with that. I did some consulting. I went into systems. But then I kept writing because the publisher said, can you write a book for children on anxiety? And so I gradually kind of stopped and I started writing that book, and they gave me 5 weeks. They said, there was a book out, and they said, it was another author's book, and they said, can you rewrite this? Which is interesting. And I was really uncomfortable. I know. And people don't realize you can write a book in mainstream publishing and they can put another author on your book if it doesn't sell. Wow. So it was a very difficult thing for me, because I was like, oh, how do I not? Yeah. Right. But it was one of the greatest gifts, because what I did was I took out all the languaging. There was sometimes the writing negates the message, so I rewrote that book, and they recovered it and resold it. And then that led to more, they actually gave me assignments,
Yeah.
which is
Do
different
you?
for authors. I had assignments for a while. Can you write
Yeah.
this, and because I'm fast, I can
Yeah.
write fast. If the second one I wrote in 7 weeks.
Wow.
I can be. I don't want to do that anymore, but
Yeah.
I did it. I was like, proved myself. And they said, this girl is fast and she knows her stuff. I had all the research in my mind already. I didn't have
Yes.
to read, you know what I mean? It's just, I knew I was ready. And I had already self-published, so I knew how to write. I took my time. So that just led to several assignments. And then eventually I'd go into emotional detox. Yeah.
So you use the same publisher for most of all of your books except the first one?
No,
No.
the Simon and Schuster published Emotional Detox. They were all through sub companies through Simon and Schuster.
Yeah.
And then St. Martin, I'm with now, did Emotional Detox Now. Simon Schuster did the anxiety book too.
Mhm.
And now I'm actually just got picked up by Sounds True for my 10th book, which I'm really excited about because that was like a childhood dream to be with Sounds True. So I've written one more, which will come out in 223. And they're behind that book. So
Ah,
I'm just getting older and wanting new experiences. It's nothing, I've been very blessed and grateful with publishing. But as you get older, you're like, maybe I'll try this, maybe I'll try that. Why not?
yes, that's one of the rewards of growing
Yeah,
older.
exactly. You're like, shake it up a little bit.
I know.
Shake it up.
All right. So,
Yeah.
because we're coming to the close of the hour, um, of our time together, actually, you have two websites, and they are for my listening audience.
Yeah. So Sheriannaboyle.com, you're going to find all my books.
Mm-hmm.
Just that's my website. And then emotionaldetoxnow.com is where you're going to see the opportunities to cleanse live with me. So it's
Oh,
either
okay.
once a month we cleanse live. That's
Yes.
once on Zoom, or it's twice a month. We do the first Wednesday or the last Wednesday of the month, and then there's other options too. And you get the cleanse yoga with that. So,
Yeah.
and some other stuff in there. And it's
Yeah.
really, it's nice to be guided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think it'd be fun to try it with
I
you
would
because
love to have you, Joyce. It
the
sounds like you might.
connection.
I'm like, is it you that's
I'm
asking or?
I'm ready. I'm ready. You may see me.
Joyce, I would love to have you. Okay. You're cute.
So this has
Yeah,
been so much fun. I can keep going, but I know you
I
have
know.
demands on you, and I appreciate.
I teach at this college in about 10 minutes and
Yeah,
15 minutes, but otherwise I could keep going too.
maybe another day.
Another
So
day.
anyway,
Yeah. Okay.
I thank you very much for taking this time to be with my audience because you've shared really some great value for them. Um, we're all struggling today. We need more help and we need more wise information that we can interpret and take in, no matter if it's in the yoga form or reading form or whatever. We are hungry for some support here. So I think you definitely have that for my audience. So
Oh, well,
thank
thank you.
ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for what you do as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, for you all out there, again, I always like to suggest you share this with your friend. We have so many friends that are struggling with anger and frustration and broken marriages and broken relationships. This can be a real anchor for somebody. So I encourage you to take your eye off of yourself and help your friend. So share the podcast with her. Share the book with her. Just go out and buy her a little sussy and give her the book when it comes out in February or any of the other magnificent 9 books that she has.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you for being here today. And I look forward to being with you next week. We promise it will be an awesome experience. Thank you, Sherianna.
Joyce Buford returns next week at the same time for another edition of Second Wind. Through the Joyce Buford Empowerment System, women are receiving the support they need through their transitions and are able to reclaim their true purpose with confidence. They receive the tools they need to map out new lives. You can find out more about her coaching services at joycebufordempowers.com.